Hey, good morning, afternoon, or evening, whenever you're listening to this. You know, it's that time of year that we start thinking about Thanksgiving and being gracious and thankful. And especially with this year of COVID, we found out how much we're thankful for, especially if you had toilet paper in your closet. And so for the weeks leading up to Thanksgiving, I want to share some thoughts each week with a video, and then later focus on a devotion on Thanksgiving. I'm not only going to give you some things to think about, but I'm also going to give you some visuals to do. I'm a visual person. I learn more by visuals. I learn more about seeing, and then I'm reminded. So what is gratitude, and is it different than Thanksgiving? Well, I'm glad you asked. To be thankful is to feel an emotional response. It sparks something in the inside of you. Usually to be thankful is considered an adjective. Grateful, well, that's a deeper response, and it comes from an emotion, but often is accompanied by action. I am thankful, therefore I act grateful by demonstrating some kind of an act of thankfulness. Perhaps there's a better way to say it. Being thankful tells that you have a sense of appreciation, but being grateful expresses that in a much deeper sense. It's like the gratitude of the heart, which is accompanied with actions. Thanksgiving is a time that we appreciate our religious freedom and the way our forefathers got in a boat, headed for a new land, and started over because they wanted to worship. The first year was a heartbreaker. They lost so many people from sickness and death and had to learn to live in a new country and a new climate. And that first Thanksgiving was a time of being thankful that they made it. So it was a living demonstration of their gratitude, just to the Indians, to those who helped them, to each other. So how are we aware of this topic of gratitude? Much of our thankfulness going to the next level is totally dependent on how much we're aware that we're gracious in gratitude for things that have happened. So the awareness changes the dynamics of the heart. So it's kind of easy to walk on the street and you see these sewer grates and you don't think much about it. However, when we have a flood, and when they get plugged, you suddenly realize they are there for a purpose, and you're very grateful that they are working so that water doesn't flood into your house. Science has proven that a life of gratitude does great things for the body. It promotes better sleep, it fortifies our immune system, it even influences how we look. Well, some of us need to be a lot more grateful. We're made aware in Psalms 126:3 that being aware of things that God has done for us fills us with joy, and that does change our countenance. Joy changes our demeanor on our face and in our hearts. Psalm 126:3 says, "The Lord has done great things for us, and we are filled with joy." Well, the changing of our approach to the things in life that we should be more simply thankful for is also described in Colossians 3:16. "Let the message of Christ dwell among you richly as you teach and admonish one another with all wisdom through psalms, hymns, songs from the Spirit, singing to God with gratitude in your heart." When we are made aware of things we should look at in gratitude, then it affects our wisdom and causes us to reach out. And that reaching out is done in teaching and singing and praying and what comes from the heart. So to shift our mindset, not just simply say thank you, but be grateful, we have to change that mindset. For some of us, we grew up learning to drive on a stick shift. Now to shift, you push in the clutch, shift the gear, and slowly let the clutch out. Once you got it down, you can do it pretty simply without shaking everybody up in the car. It may take something like that, take a while to be aware, to be gracious. It takes a while to change the mindset from expectation to gratitude. I love Thanksgiving, partly because it comes before Christmas, but mostly because it reminds me, and I'm reminded, so I'm aware. I'm more aware because I am so thankful, but I want it to be more than just a casual thank you. A deep moment of gratitude that remains in my heart to create a place that God is honored and my life is a witness of graciousness, not just a thank you, but a really heartfelt expression of gratitude. Greek mythology brought us cornucopia, or rather translated the horn of plenty. Traditionally, it was represented in the horn of a goat. It symbolizes fertility and abundance and fortune. So many in our American culture use it as a decoration to symbolize abundance. So they use flowers, they use fruit. It's a large woven basket, and it's in the shape of a horn. I love visuals. Told you that before. And I do better with visuals because they remind me. So my challenge for you this week, and every week I will have a challenge for you, is to prepare your own horn of plenty. Now, you don't need a horn and you don't need plenty, but you do need things that will trigger that awareness within you. You need to be grateful. So yours will look different than mine. Ours will all reflect an interesting 2020. And sometimes we tend to reflect on the things that brought us stress. But let's not focus on the panic and the fear and the sickness and the loss. Let's focus on the plenty we have. So determine, first of all, where are you going to place your horn of plenty? If you have a basket, use a basket. Otherwise, perhaps on a coffee table or on a dining room table where you can see it. Put it in that area, and then on that, in that, near that, wherever you've created that, put things that remind you that God has given you plenty. The blessings God has given you this year just remind you of the joy that we read about in Psalms, where the Lord has done great things for us and we are filled with joy. So let me give you some ideas. So I had 2 kids get married this year in the middle of COVID, not one, but 2 weddings 3 weeks apart. We gained 2 family members to our immediate family, and then we got a bigger, larger extended family. We put a new roof on the room I'm sitting in. Bailey put a trailer on the property. We had to put a new septic system in, and the well went kind of bonkers. And there's a new horse at the stable, spent lots of time at the cabin, reunited with friends, helped a few go to heaven. So I will probably have pictures of my friends, maybe a guitar pick, maybe I'll put a ukulele there. I got a hanky from Tyler's wife, Bree, that says happy tears. Kind of get the point? So it's little things that make up the year that I am grateful for, that I'm going to use for my horn of plenty. But you know, even if this year went totally belly up, we have so much to be thankful for. So make a horn of plenty. Smile and laugh, maybe shed a tear, but be aware, which is our topic of this week. Being aware of what has happened in your heart when you're truly grateful, not just for the life that God has given us, but for the blessings that He's given us along the way. Have a great week. See you next week.